Well, I'm often accused of this, of misrepresenting people. So let me try to give Queen Jenna the whole floor, because King Uranus and Queen Jenna are upset again. That we're not upset at their insane oppression in the Scientology, and we just need to join their evil clone army and bow down to Queen Jenna, and then everything will be butterfly and fruitcakes. Let's hear her speak about what the real problem with Scientology is. Well, what is the real problem? Well, it's that she suffered, and if she doesn't get her revenge, well, something's gone very, very wrong.
Including Tom's personal treatment of me. And I just have to fit in there. Sorry. I'm just trying to say things before I forget. Is that there is a big difference between talking about an adult man getting punched in the face on an occasion than talking about a child who, from the age of 6 years old until they were 18 years old, was required to work 40 hours a week, was deprived of an education, was held down, was interrogated repeatedly for hours and hours on end. Both things are horrible.
Well, I have to be the unfortunate realist, and I know I'm going to lose one or two subscribers here, but yeah, you're right that there's because I don't want to cut her off too soon, but it's copyright issues. Okay, wow, you can't compare the two. That is true. Now, I don't think people realize what she's talking about, because if you knew the full context, you'd be like horrified and stunned. But basically, who she's speaking about is Tom DeVach and some other executives who were put in the hole. What is the hole, you may ask? Well, and it is not an exaggeration, because there's too much exaggeration with the ex-Scientologists, but and I've studied this stuff in detail, so this is an expert opinion. Right? Because what Jenna is describing for herself is her bad experiences at the ranch, which are terrible, but good or bad, we can compare that to a military school, which is not good. Like, military schools have many harsh punishments. We're talking about a full blown concentration camp. I am not joking. That is literally what David Miscavige created. He had these two massive trailers where he put in all these executives because he was going berserk in these paranoid fantasies. By the way, it's so crazy. It's not just Devach, Render, and other people that were subjected to this. Emily Armstrong's mother was also put into the hole. So Miscavige was pretty full blown nutcase. And to be fair, Devach did not, I think, get the maximum amount of oppression as much as some other execs, but it is still really, really bad. So just to give you a taste of just the insane amount of pain and horror, Miscavige came up with this weird musical chair game with a big boom box and said, "Yeah, I just want you guys to beat each other and just keep doing that." And as you'd expect, they just started grabbing each other and just beating each other senseless. And again, I am not defending these people. They're all pretty horrible, including Jenna. But at one point, and this isn't going clear, these two big executives, Rathbun and Render, were like choking each other and just hitting and hitting each other. So when Jenna says, I guess they like got occasionally punched. It did not get an occasional punch. In the whole, this was unbearable, unending psychological and physical torture. And it's like, well, I didn't get a proper education. I mean, are you insane? Any rational person would say, okay, would you rather be a kid with tons of chores, 40 hours of work, and yes, interrogations that go on for hours? Remember, by now, Jenna is a privileged person. She's a miscavige. So certain things will never happen to her. She's got immunity, right? Which Jenna likes to forget, but let's not forget the real victims. Okay, would you rather have that, chores and interrogations, or, hey, spend months and months and months in a North Korean Stalinistic neo-Nazi concentration camp where you will lose significant amounts of your body fat, be brainwashed, and while you're being beaten and tortured, he will periodically take you out turn you into a robot and say, just go out in public and do my propaganda. We'll put you back in the hole later. And just imagine having that unending terror going on year after year after year. And now this punk little kid who's grown up and as a chip on her shoulder says, well, they're both horrible. No, they are not the same, Jenna. You're being stupid. Are many military schools terrible? Sure. Are many Scientology schools terrible? Absolutely. Are they concentration camps? No, they're not. The reason we call concentration camps is they are a special degree of depravity. The amount of punishment your body and mind suffers is incredible. It's an insane amount of pain. He's like, well, I guess they got like an occasional punch or something. Okay, you are a monster. All right. If you don't care about those victims, that's fine. But you're complaining, they held me down. Oh, we're not talking about adults holding down a child. We're talking adults full on beating and beating and beating one another to a dictator's delight, to incredible loud bursts of music. And then he says, all right, I want you guys to stop. Yeah, you're going to get some McDonald's meal. Yeah, eat the McDonald's. We'll pick up the torture tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. So, but we know now who the real victim is. It's Jenna Miscavige. Did she ever go to a concentration camp or get a... No, no, no. Like her worst traumas, which, believe me, I've been there, was years and years of poverty. Believe me, I know that. I know that. Poverty in America is not easy. It is not something to lightly dismiss. Poverty is very real in America. At the same time, I am not going to say I'm the victim of being in a part of a concentration camp program for like half a decade. That is just not true. That didn't happen. That didn't happen to her. So she can complain about a lot of things. Get a good lawyer, have a lawsuit against Devach if you want. But really, saying that you suffered like the people in the hole suffered, yeah, you're just being stupid. And you're being radically, even pathological lying doesn't come. I mean, it's like, really, it's like saying, oh, God, it was so rough in Germany. You know, like in school, we had to do all those marches and singing. Oh my God, it's terrible. And to say, oh yeah, and there's like these Jews, they're complaining about the concentration camps, but really, I was a child. I suffered so much under Germany. Oh my God. I'm like, how stupid are you? No, you're not some refugee from the Rwandan genocide, and you're not Anne Frank at all. At all. You're just being stupid.
Both of them. Why are you only talking about one? Why are you only talking about the one that victimizes you? Why aren't you talking about the things that you oversaw as a senior executive and were directly responsible for as my guardian?
Well, again, I want to be very clear. I'm not making Tom Devach into an angel, right? If what Jenna says is true, that's pretty horrifying and bad that, well, he ordered her to do his laundry and acted in a very dictatorial manner, is now denying the pain and suffering he inflicted. But there is a difference, again, good or bad, there is a difference between, a fascist dictator torturing entire groups of people to his delight with unending mechanisms of control and brainwashing versus, again, it's still bad, being a tyrannical boss and bossing around underage servants. They're both bad, right? But they're different degrees of evil, right? Good or bad. One is more bureaucratic evil. The other is, psychopathic fascist dictator evil. They say, why do I talk about one? Because one is far worse than the other, stupid. Like, I don't understand. Why are we talking about Israel and Iran, these Palestinian children? You know who's really suffering? Queen Jenna. Yeah, me, it's Queen Jenna. Maybe because Queen Jenna, you've never suffered like a Palestinian child or a victim of a Scientology concentration camp. You suffered a lot, but not that degree. In fact, that was very brutally. What permanent physical damage or trauma did you suffer in Scientology? I think people would be shocked to learn basically none. There are many people who suffered massive, and I mean massive bodily injury. We're not talking like small slaps to the face. We're talking full on sessions of just unending beatings and more. And let's just read a sample of what Jenna Miscavige is minimizing as. I mean, that was one executive who was made to stand underneath the strong gusts of an air conditioner while water was poured on him. A woman who was beaten by other members until she confessed she was a lesbian. And another member who was made to lick a bathroom floor for a half hour. We're not talking scrubbing toilets or even with a little toothbrush cleaning a bathroom. We're talking with your tongue licking a bathroom for half an hour. But who is the real victim here? Okay, first of all, no, we don't live in a monarchy. You're not a queen. Uranus is not a king. You're not Nelson Mandela. And he's not some holy saint angel. Now, the fact that you're both really highly narcissistic thugs is what it is. But we should still be very harsh and critical of Devat, Rinder, and the others. I mean, these executives are, to put it mildly, guilty of many vicious crimes themselves. But still, licking a bathroom for half an hour? And she's like, I mean, I don't know, they got slapped around or something. Like, it was so much worse, they held me down. I'm Queen Jenna, how could they do that? But you are right, Jenna, he is kind of belittling you because, yeah, you sound like an idiot. I mean, if you survive these massive trailers and this North Korean experience and got out the other end and didn't lose your mind and your sanity and your soul, then you might have the ground to be like, well, my pain matters too. But you didn't do that. And you know why? Despite the Elron and Miscavige, by the way, put aside all the propaganda you guys tell about, he didn't do that to you. You know? He didn't do that. It's like, well, you're a little girl. I guess, send her off to the ranch. Yeah, oh my god, I suffered so much. No, you didn't. You did not suffer the worst experience in Scientology. No, you didn't. Your worst, most traumatic experience were years of poverty, which I've experienced too, and I would be all for you. Don't shut up about that. It is very hard to try to survive in America with very little income. It is really hard. And being surrounded by cultists does not make that easy. However, that is not the same or comparable to surviving a concentration camp. Both things are terrible, but they're different degrees of terrible. And if you want Tom DeVach to be on his hands and knees and beg you for forgiveness, well, okay, get a civil lawsuit going. I'll support that too. But really, trying to deny what he and others experienced or witnessed with the whole, I mean, what are you, stupid or something? I don't know. Something's just not right with your brain. But I get it. You like the brainwashing with King Arana, so yeah, there probably is something wrong with your brain. But that's a choice, honey. The rest of us also have a choice. We're going to walk away from you two because you're both, deranged maniacs.